There were 2 smart kids in our class. Including me, the other smart kid was absent because she was sick, and I was the only one left from whom everyone could cheat. So I wrote the wrong answers, and then when I finished the paper after writing random shit I didn't give the paper, I just sat at my seat with my head down, and after almost everyone gave in their paper, I erased the wrong answers and rewrote the paper while everyone were looking at me in dead silence and anger. Ah yes, what an epic troll. Those other kids will never get the answer from me. Hello Redditors of the internet, Noble Xenon here, and welcome to r/IAmVerySmart, part 28. Let's get started. So, remember Lord Caxton? Excuse me, it is not Lord Caxton, it is the Right Honourable Ludolph Caxton, Viscount Caxton, Order of Merit! And I am here today to deliver a special message from today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Viscount Caxton, I'll take it from here. You do not have to be a part of the nobility to protect yourself, especially online, where all kinds of companies and individuals are trying to track your activity. Oh, and don't even get me started on the hackers. So what does a VPN, or virtual private network, do? It creates that layer of protection between that device you browse Reddit on and the internet itself. Especially ExpressVPN, since it reroutes 100% of your network traffic through their servers, which are not only secure, but also encrypted. But that's not all. ExpressVPN also gives you unrestricted access to every corner of the internet. The internet doesn't really have corners, but it does have content that can only be accessed by certain countries, and you can use ExpressVPN to unblock those. Pretty nice, right? But tell me, how can I obtain this ExpressVPN? Well, all you gotta do is click the link in the description and you'll get 3 months free. Yes, free. So if you like what they have to offer, click below. So, this next individual is smart. Take his word for it. The SAT is a horrible test and correlates negatively to IQ. My 940 on the SAT is good, because it means that I have a high IQ. I bet the SAT correlates negatively to IQ, because I am smart enough to not put 1,000,000 hours into studying for the useless test that anyone can get over a 1500 on, and I can get it too, but I just don't want to. So the SAT is 1500s are probably not as smart as 1200 scorers, and I can just go test optional. My dude, there are some valid criticisms about the SAT and the College Board in general, but this is not one of them. While the SAT is not exactly an IQ test, it really just sounds like you're trying to justify your low score. And now we have Dr. Jagged Protuberance here. Stop swinging your neck so viciously whilst you play. Those kinds of vigorous ticks will only lead to rheumatic problems in later life, and possibly brain damage, as your brain repeatedly impacts against the jagged protuberances inside your skull. Furthermore, I'd like to proffer that these activities may well point to some deeper, underlying psychological problems that may be treated with the proper psychiatric intervention. Okay, there's no need to overanalyze a video this much. And now some dude on a video of a plane filled with smoke, it was not in fact moisture. This is just moisture in the air condensing with the air pressure change plus a really humid environment. People would know this if they spent more time reading books instead of watching 30-second TikTok videos and playing Candy Crush. But alas, this is what society has been reduced to. Apparently that's all society does nowadays. It's the same conditions that create fog. Never understood panicking when you're in a giant metal tube in the air. There's no point. There's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? Jump out? If it was actually smoke, everyone would be coughing, choking on the fumes. Sure is bold to assume you wouldn't panic. These kinds of people think not understanding emotional reactions is somehow a flex. I only think with logic, nothing else. For this next one, kids these days can't tell a story. I must give this an enormous facepalm. The grammatical structure of that story is horrendous. It was a chore to have to endure it. Generation SMS is so hopeless. It's one thing to say the grammar is atrocious, but then you decide to throw the whole generation in there. One person doesn't reflect the entire society. And now thanks for the unsolicited advice. So the OP posts something on r/1000pound best friends. It's one of those shows that you know it's on TLC just by the title. Is it me, or is Megan overly dependent on others? I'm playing catch-up on some episodes, and seems like she will only do things if she has everyone else around her doing it. Anyone else notice? I will say, this season Vanessa's been a breath of fresh air as she's been pushing herself. First season Vanessa was tough, but she's grown a lot in my opinion. Well, I haven't watched this, so I have no idea. But this intellectual has a problem with certain phrasing. Pro tip: avoid the cliched "isn't me and anyone else notice" in your future post-constructions. It sounds like indignation baiting, and while many fall for it, seldom generates a meaningful discussion. And don't get butthurt when people get predictably snarky over this trite gambit. You baited such comments. Just say what you want to say and people will sincerely meet you where you are and expand. I mean, the phrasing of the OP seems fine. It doesn't have to be meticulously edited to remove all cliches like a novel or something. And by the way, used pro tip, wouldn't you consider that cliche as well? This next one is onto something. Does anyone have any substances for thinking? For background, I am a young man. I've always been considered intelligent and I am on a mind-unlocking journey. I am needing to think about philosophy, theology, and any other subjects that come to mind. What substances would help me enhance my understanding and help me develop theories and explanations of the world? I feel like I'm onto something, but I just need a little boost. Thank you for all who helped me out. Well, if you really are as intelligent as you say you are, I hope you're very careful about this. Don't want things to get out of hand, so to speak. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? And now watch out, we have ourselves a Sigma male over here. Oh yes, it has often been stated in your videos that Sigma males are concentrated on success. Through the analyses and the analysis from other sources, I've come to understand that I am a Sigma male. I have discovered a great deal about who I am. Yes, I walk out of social gatherings without speaking to anyone. If I'm caught leaving a gathering, I say I'll be back. But of course, I never say when. As you see, it makes a lot more Sigma when you leave social functions like the Terminator. Yes, I am a very solitary person. I do hate small talk, even from family members. I appreciate intelligent discourse, not hockey scores or social media. I mean, those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. It is possible to talk about intelligent topics, then also talk about last night's hockey game. Babbling idiots have no space in my world. That will definitely include American politicians. The great majority of the people out there bore me to tears. By now, you might believe that I am an ogre. However, if you met me, you would find me polite, refined, well-read, and personable, so thank you for helping me identify who I am and what I am. Oh no, another person caught up in the Sigma male videos. This next one has an IQ of 144. They don't have a brain tumor, and they're 150% sure ghosts exist. First and foremost, I'm not one of those theorists running around with an aluminum hat on my head. Let's just get that out of the way, shall we? I believe the powers that be feel that society is intelligent. People are stupid. I'm not stupid, and everything that I'm seeing in the news and how the country is all upside down. I really don't trust what anybody is saying on either side, so I can fully believe that all the phenomenons that people may or may not believe, there's more out there that we really should be knowing. But I know hands down 150% that ghosts do exist. I've personally had way too many experiences myself not to believe, and I don't have a brain tumor, and my IQ has been tested at 144, so I know I'm not stupid. Have I made mistakes in my life? Of course, that makes me human. But the fact that I had a ghost talk to me, and I witnessed him disappear right in front of me, well, I'm sorry, but it's going to be harder for you to prove that they don't exist. Ah yes, a Reddit post just proved the existence of ghosts. Wow. And the craziest part is that this highly enlightened Redditor still hasn't told all their stories yet. And now the politics of anime art. All art is political. MFs try and explain the politics of this. Absolutely no political dimension to a picture of a Japanese character treating the product of an American multinational fast food corporation as manna from heaven. No sir, don't even think about opening a history book. But seriously, that artwork is a reflection of US global cultural hegemony. It's not that hard to see this stuff if you know how to look at the world. I mean, it's certainly an interesting interpretation. It's just the way you said it. Also, it was not really the artist's intention. Hi, artist here, it's about cute girl eating burger. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. And now a 16-year-old Redditor understands every fundamental law of reality somehow. I know the title says 18, but the intellectual claims to actually be 16. On r/career guidance. Why is reality so boring? I need new perspectives. I understand every fundamental law of our reality. I have this weird ability to instantly understand information that I take in. I understood quantum mechanics, qubits included, as I was learning it real time, which was like 3 days. Somehow, I really doubt you learned all of quantum mechanics in 3 days, but okay. I understand how energy works and how the transference of energy is essentially infinite. I understand superposition, how waves and particles behave depending on whether they are being observed, quantum measurement, or not. I try to talk about these things with the people around me, but they just can't really understand it, and end up completely discarding the subject at hand when I try to explain it to them. Am I just a bad teacher? Probably. I mean, yeah, teaching others in a way they're able to understand is a whole skill of its own. I also feel like people are too mentally lazy these days and give up trying to understand whatever they are having trouble understanding the moment they feel it's too hard. It's just a matter of understandation, not a word. Should it be one? I don't know. It shouldn't, because you can just use the word understanding. It's not like it's a whole concept that doesn't have a word for it. Fundamentally, we can identify 2 key tasks for the notion of fundamentality. The first is to capture the idea that there is a foundation of being, which consists of independent entities. The second is to capture the idea that the fundamental entities constitute a complete basis that all else depends on. Consciousness, or the ability to observe matter, creates the possibility for quantum entanglement and also goes hand in hand with reality. One cannot exist without the other because the act of observation allows for light to act as a particle. Not sure what field I should go in? High school work bores me, so I have pretty bad grades and I feel like eventually I will have no choice but to do the pointless work, which in turn leads me to hate it even more, thus spawning more bad grades. Honestly, I hope this kid learns that knowing the surface level ideas of something like quantum mechanics doesn't mean they know everything there is to know about it. And now people's IQ are really lower than their credit score now and days, absolutely jarring. And someone else replies, well, considering a bad credit score is like 600 and a high IQ is like 130, yeah, I'd say most people's IQ is lower than their credit score and the term is nowadays. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was the joke. I mean, IQ lower than the credit scores? I mean, I'd hope so. And now on an Imager post about toddlers being toxic. I know it's the parlance of youth, but why do we normalize atrocious grammar? What would you qualify as atrocious grammar? Something that you can't even understand, or just one minor grammar mistake? This person is certain that they're profoundly gifted despite never being tested. While I did no test, I'm fairly certain my IQ was also less than 180 at the age of 5. Now as well, come to think of it, why yes, I agree that my IQ is in fact less than 180. Moving on to a very peculiar believer. Dan Brown talks about the oddities of theoretical science and how it becomes unexplainable. I don't really read BS thrillers, so I wouldn't know. My shelf is textbooks, philosophy, theology, computing, automotive innovation, and manuals for diagnosis of German and Italian cars. You know, the opposite of BS. Maybe I should burn my textbooks, gonzo journalism, and listen to a bunch of idiots on Reddit who have yet to answer my questions. Oh, that's right, they're unable to be answered without some type of weird shit. Only this book is reality. And you guys hate that you can't objectively explain to me where subatomic particles came from, let alone how they expanded from nothing to something so large we can't see the edges, lol. Let alone explain to me how an inanimate planet created beings capable of doing the impossible. It is ironic that this is a sub based on criticism of intelligence, yet your only refute is a downvote, the equivalent of cutting someone off in driving terms. My favorite part is that string theory and space are full of physical magic. The fact that inanimate objects in a vacuum can produce more energy than we could dream of in seconds tells me there's something weird at the fundamentals of matter. The fabric of space can practically be punctured to time travel when you simultaneously die and observe yourself at the event horizon. Explain that. Well, math explains it, not observation. Ironic. The most logical field is illogical when it comes to the puzzle of life. A puzzle that is still being figured out to this day. But I just cannot accept math. It must be observable. And now, do people even talk like this? I'm a therapist. I love Andrew Tate. You're right. He's sweet. Cuddly even. I'm a Menzen in hiding. Of course you are, cause it ain't cool to announce your own brilliance. But find a fucking Lee, a human who has no problem connecting themselves to the taboo of intelligence. Thank you for this vid. I feel vindicated and empowered. Love to the both of you. A genuine, heartfelt interview. It is not intelligence that is taboo, it is thinking you know it all even though you don't. Actually intelligent people can recognize that they don't know it all. If they encounter something they don't know, they ask relevant questions and do research. If every man was as confident as Andrew Tate is, none of them would need therapy. Oh really now? And now some people are just too complex. Was this funny? Did I miss something? I didn't even crack a smile this whole clip. Some of y'all are easily entertained over nothing, aka basic beach. Have fun, sheeple. Using sheeple unironically in 2023, wow. But for real, some of you really cracked a smile and or laughed, whatever makes you happy. I'm just more complex. Yes, people are different. I'd give credit if I even half smoked / giggled watching any of these posts. That's okay. Raise your standards and do be so simple. Lol JK, be you, kiss. I don't think I'm gonna take critique from a guy with a Dr. Seuss quote in his bio. Couldn't even take the time to type the whole thing out either, laughing emoji. Yes, this individual's brain just works in a much more complex way than any of us could ever understand. Even though the human brain in general is so complex, we still can't fully understand it. So your complexity is not really anything special now, is it? And now an example of my incredible wit is when I once boasted about my wit. What one of your many idiosyncrasies do you like most? I guess it's my ability to think on my feet. I can come up with a witty answer or joke to almost any question that comes my way. For example, when someone asked me what the best invention of all time was, I quickly responded, my wit. Wow, so clever. Not actually answering with a useful invention. And now no, that's really not the totally real reason you don't have friends. I very recently learned that the reason I have little to no friends is soulful based on the fact that I think fun / enjoyable conversations involve figuring out how math equations work. 3 laughing emojis. They just can't keep up with my equations, or they just get too bored. And now, I am much smarter than linear thinkers. Do stupid people linear thinkers have a gaming advantage? Upon playing games, I often notice that the uncreative, non-intuitive, and generally close to average in terms of intellect persons tend to be the most consistent in gaming performance. This I say because obviously I am the opposite of all those, and notice that I differ in my gaming approach to the vast majority, hint stupid people. What I've noticed is that potential-wise, i.e. my maximum output, I'm a whole other level to them. That is, a given performance in which I and a linear thinker duel, I most likely demolish him. I am able to, due to my intuition and intellect, demolish his performance and make mine excellent. Yet, as this thinker I happen to be, who is able to be abstract, I can be rather inconsistent, and because I have a natural preference for the non-linear, my gaming performance can drop drastically in case I'm not in a state of deep focus. So while this individual can destroy people with facts and logic, they can't exactly get the hang of gaming. The linear non-intellectual, however, even on his day off, has more consistency, for his performance has always been relying on the same pattern. His low performance happens only if the pattern is shattered by an external force such as me. It is akin to a car that drives fast straightforwardly. It will continue by mere pushing of the pedal and do well on that linear task. Yet a mere rock on the road can slow it down or push it away, and should no such obstacle be placed by an external force or agent, the car shall continue freely. What kind of car would that be? That sounds quite dangerous. The non-intellectual linear thinker has an advantage over the deep thinker, for even if the talent of the latter is on an incomparably higher level, the linear thinker shall be victorious by merely being awake in the midst of the briefest time of mind fatigue that occurs in the deep thinker. I, Viscount Caxton, have identified the cause of your inconsistencies in gaming. It is what is widely considered to be a skill issue. Also, if your brain really works in that way, you can just play strategy games. And now, I am the smartest boy in the world. Rereading classics is for dummies. Okay, I'm very curious to hear your perspective as an English teacher. I hear this idea all the time that it takes 2, 3, or even more read-through of books, especially classics, to get it. I mean, yeah, if you reread a book, you'll probably catch things that you didn't catch the first time. But I have never found that to be the case. Even in school, I found I got it on one go-round. All the hidden stuff people say they found on rereads was basically just reiterating things like themes or motifs I already got the first time. Or reframing things based on outside discussion or analysis. But that's not really dependent on rereading. I recently tried rereading several classic books, but I found myself bored because, again, I already got it the first time. That's one reason I think it's interesting. Teachers tend to emphasize or recommend reading books several times to get it. Sounds like you're just bragging about the fact that you can get everything out of a book in one read. And by the way, are you really sure you got everything? And now a news story about a gas station playing loud classical/opera to deter loitering. That would make me stick around, but I get it. Dense, unintelligent people usually don't appreciate the intricacies of opera and classical music. Anyone hanging around outside a gas station probably isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. You don't see intellectuals hanging outside the local speedway. Maybe you will now though, laughing emoji. There's no shame in enjoying classical music, but it doesn't mean you're superior to others. We go to Amazon for this next one? Yeah, an Amazon review. I don't read instructions, I get my wife to read them when I'm finished to prove how right I was. The Master Assembler. Gave it 5 stars, verified too. It took minutes to do and looks awesome, but also gives us complete peace of mind. In England, it is law to have safety glass on furniture, but I was really nervous about our little girl breaking the glass and hurting herself on our iguana habitat. So we decided to apply this film to the glass. I didn't read the instructions or even look at them because common sense told me that one has to use washing up liquid in warm water. I first cleaned the glass with the same solution and then applied more of the solution of washing up liquid and warm water to the glass. This enables you to move the film about to the desired position and eliminate the air bubbles. I then used a credit card to push the excess solution out. It took minutes to do and looks awesome, but also gives us complete peace of mind. After I'd finished, I asked my wife to read the instructions to me, and some of the first words are washing up liquid in warm water. It's scary to think that people who can't even apply this film are driving around in cars, and probably even have jobs. There's no way. And someone said this is 100% a paid review, probably because there were a lot of reviews complaining about it being too difficult. But no, you just don't understand. The intellectual knows what to do, even if it may be confusing for mere mortals. And now Guy thinks he was too good for cartoons. At 13? For me, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon were more when I was below 10. At 13, I was starting to read some philosophy and learning my first programming languages. The entertainment was just too childish for them. Philosophy is more like it. We go to Discord for this next one. Here we go. Low IQs simply fail to understand how the world works. Their jobs are easily replaceable, which makes them more expendable for the government. Most of the prison burden is concentrated in the lower IQ segment of the population, due to their inability to appreciate the long-term consequences of their actions. They have far fewer abilities and skills that can be usefully contributed to the community. They simply lack the cognitive ability to be responsible citizens, and I'm very, very glad that I'm not one of them. They are just like livestock, but without the ROI, ingrate parasites. r/IAmVerySmart, and here you are. Welcome. And now for this last one. Guys, I'm having a heart attack. Can someone call me a journalism major? Well, I guess you know more than her doctor then. Well, yes, because I studied journalism, and I'm qualified to research and fact-check claims, and I keep up with new studies and peer-reviewed scientific research. It sounds like her doctor has ignored every new study about this that has come out since they went to medical school, lol. Every major health organization recommends getting nutrients from whole plant-based foods because 1, possible, and 2, healthiest source to obtain them from. So crazy. I'm sorry, but journalism doesn't make you more qualified to speak about one specific person's medical needs than that specific person's actual doctor. And by the way, this was not a scientific journalist, it was someone who just happened to do journalism in college. Wait, so you're telling me they're not even working in the field? Yet this person thinks they're smarter than the doctor. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of my patrons, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Crangus McBisketbull, Dark Garden, J. Demby Twice, Catalin Cormendi, Mike Hawk, Hold Up, Nightcrawler, Stormcloud the Wolf, Zoe Horsham, and Vicmeister 1999. You can join in the link below, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment if you have something interesting to say.